Tonight on CTV News, arrested for extortion violence.
The two individuals today, I can confirm, were arrested for offenses related to careless use of a firearm, arson.
The breakthrough a community has been waiting for after months of terrifying threats.
People are anxious, and it does make you remember.
4 years after Linton was destroyed by a wildfire, another wildfire is burning near town. How an RCMP accident sparked the flames.
There had been early intervention with the kids. I do believe they would be next to normal children.
Children recovering from trauma after years of horrific neglect. The huge challenge 3 siblings face. A CTV investigation.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. After months of terrifying threats, police now have a break in the extortion violence targeting the South Asian business community. Today, RCMP arrested 2 people in connection with the brazen attempts to shake down people for money. Let's go live to RCMP headquarters in Surrey, where our Kevin Chirac is standing by. Kevin?
Mijung, police are calling this an operational step, but there is plenty more work to be done. RCMP have been investigating these extortion cases that date back to late 2023 and have terrorized business owners, particularly in the South Asian community. This video surfaced last month showing a group pouring gasoline on vehicles before getting scared off, then later coming back and firing gunshots at a Surrey trucking company. For well over a year, we've heard several stories of business owners receiving death threats, with criminals demanding large sums of money. Today, RCMP announcing 2 Surrey residents have been arrested.
The 2 individuals today, I can confirm, were arrested for offenses related to careless use of a firearm, arson, and related specifically to extortion offenses. They're related to extortions here in the Lower Mainland, spanning back to incidents that occurred as late as 2023 or more recently in 2024.
Police did not say which specific extortion cases the 2 are connected to, and no charges have been laid. Police say the 2 are still in custody, but could be back on the streets in the coming days. Because no charges have been laid, police releasing very little information about the suspects, only that no charges have been laid and they could be released very soon. They also didn't answer any questions regarding how many extortion cases are being investigated at this time. So still many questions, not many answers. Mijung, I do have to say, I just did speak with a victim who's received extortion threats for several months. He says he received another one just 4 days ago. Tells me he's happy to hear of the arrests, but is far from satisfied. Back to you.
Thank you, Kevin. We are now learning how an out-of-control wildfire near the village of Linton started. The RCMP say they caused it accidentally during a rescue operation. As CTV's Isabella Zaffarisi reports, conditions are so dry, it's not uncommon for that to happen.
In 3 days, the Eisman Creek wildfire has grown to about 155 hectares north of Linton, prompting evacuation alerts and shutting down a highway.
And yeah, it's burning pretty bad.
While crews work to contain it, one agency is claiming responsibility.
Tremendously unfortunate.
On Tuesday, RCMP officers were towing a boat in the search for a missing swimmer near Seton Lake when the trailer's wheel fell off. The sparks then ignited a fire in the grass. A Mountie can be seen trying to put it out on the side of Highway 12 north of Linton.
It does appear that equipment was simply failed. Obviously very unintentional. It doesn't take much right now to start a fire, as we know. So a couple sparks and it was quickly out of control.
It goes to show that anything can happen at any time. An accident, an unintentional act can cause a fire.
The BC Wildfire Service says in drought conditions, it doesn't take much to ignite forest fuels.
And vehicles can create heat and sparks in any number of ways. So that could be from a wheel, like a rim dragging on the road or rubbing on the road. It could be from a hot exhaust or a hot catalytic converter.
Officials reminding people to take precautions. to carry water in your car, and to make sure your vehicle is in good condition.
If you are towing something, you're doing so responsibly and not accidentally throwing off sparks of some kind.
The fire happening nearly 4 years to the day. A devastating blaze destroyed much of Linton and part of the Linton First Nation.
Sadly, it's almost a norm, and it happens every year. And I think people are anxious.
The unease on hold for now as the fire spreads slowly and weather conditions improve. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News.
A new out-of-control fire is burning near the community of Hope. The BC Wildfire Service says it was discovered around midnight, about half a kilometer south of the highway near Serpent's Back Trail. It's currently 0.6 hectares in size. A 10-person ground crew is on site as a helicopter buckets water from above.
The tricky thing with this fire is it's just the terrain that it's in. It's very steep and sloped, so that makes it a bit difficult for accessing it. But as mentioned, we do have a helicopter there as well doing some bucketing on it.
The fire is suspected to be human-caused while it's close to town. At this point, there are no evacuation alerts or orders and no risk to infrastructure, but officials warn that could change. It was 4 years ago this week that morgues were overrun and frontline workers began experiencing post-traumatic stress as a result of hundreds of unexpected deaths. That experience has led to significant changes in how governments respond to heat waves. Our Penny Daflos is here. Penny, you found out more about the changes since the 2021 heat dome.
Yeah, Mijang, not only did they totally overhaul the procedures and decision-making in a matter of weeks, they've been updating and tweaking their protocols every year since. And it's for good reason. The heat dome exposed many weaknesses and failures in BC's disaster plans, particularly around extreme heat. In 2021, the temperature soared into the 40s in some areas, with some indoor temperatures hitting as high as the 50s. Overnight, the mercury barely dipped, contributing to the problem. Now there's a heat alert response system with detailed instructions on everything from providing drinking water in hospital waiting rooms to recommendations from municipalities to extend operating hours for public cooling spaces such as libraries, not to mention better communication to the public for extreme heat in the future.
We're much readier. Are we as ready as we need to be? Likely not. We often talk about the 2021 heat dome as unprecedented. That doesn't mean that something else even more unprecedented won't come along.
You may remember the coroner's report found that nearly all the deaths happened indoors. Most were seniors, often living in poverty and alone. Some were on psychiatric medications that contributed to their deaths. Now, I've spoken to so many people, from nurses and doctors to first responders and public health leaders, who describe the heat dome as a traumatic experience and a real turning point in their careers. Some journalists feel that as well, myself included. So it's become important to a lot of people that lessons aren't forgotten and we're better prepared for extreme heat events. And Mijang, I've got, if people want to read the HERS step by step to see how those decisions are made, I've got a link to that on our website.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks a lot, Penny.
You bet.
Turning now to our CTV investigation into the disturbing case of 3 Indigenous children who relatives say were severely neglected. They lived in northern BC and in the interior in what's described as horrific conditions. An investigation revealed that despite multiple complaints to authorities, the children were not removed for years. Their guardian now believes the siblings will never fully recover. CTV's Michelle Bernaro has this exclusive report and a warning: the details are disturbing.
From playtimes,
They love having dance parties,
to bonding times.
I love you.
These 3 siblings, who are now between 5 and 6 years old, have grown both physically and emotionally.
to see them wanting the hugs and snuggles and just them wanting to touch your face and your hair, and laughing and giggling with them is the best out of all of this.
We cannot legally identify the children or their guardian, who is also a relative, but she says despite progress, every day still brings significant challenges for the kids who were severely neglected. Multiple reports to social workers were not adequately responded to for almost 4 years.
I sometimes wish we would have just took them illegally.
When the parents finally contacted the ministry themselves in December 2023 to say they couldn't look after the kids, relatives say the damage was already done. Relatives described the children as feral when they first came into care.
I used to work with special needs kids, and I've never seen children like this in my life. The conditions were horror. That's all I could describe it as. They were living in feces, eating feces. There were malnutrition.
There had been early intervention with the kids. I do believe they would be next to normal children. And I do believe that these are lifelong issues that they will have forever.
She says the children stim to soothe themselves. They are not potty trained, and one of them will eat feces or vomit if not constantly watched. The children smash walls and hurt themselves and others.
Scratching, biting themselves, just flailing their arms and legs, kicking things, slamming their head against the floor if they can. And when you do try to intervene, they will attack you. I've had caretakers that have been horrifically bitten. It's astronomical what it's taking to take care of these kids.
A team is needed around the clock to care for the children. Additionally, they have seen countless medical professionals, from psychologists to pediatricians to occupational and behavioral therapists.
We do have a trauma counselor that not only has seen the children, but I also see on a weekly basis because of the things that we deal with.
Amazing! The children's guardian says the oldest child is repeating words and trying to speak. The other two remain almost entirely nonverbal, and yet she says it's been difficult to get them speech therapy.
A 2-year wait list, these kids don't have that time.
And they're still waiting 8 months after referral to get into a highly specialized program at BC Children's, where they will be more thoroughly assessed. As for schools, she believes it's not an option yet.
Don't think the schools are equipped to handle. I think they would be turned around 20 minutes after they get there.
Their guardian says it's worrisome that getting ongoing therapy and supports for the children leaves her at the mercy of the very ministry that failed them. But she says the children are precious and she will keep fighting to give them the best life possible. Michelle Bernoro, CTV News, Vancouver.
Now to the mysterious death of a man in central BC. Gordon Sims was found dead in a home in Vanderhoof earlier this year. But his family still doesn't know how he got there. And tonight they are appealing to anyone with information to come forward. Sinjin Alexander has the story.
Until now, Mounties had only released stills of this person. Still unsure of who it is, they are now providing surveillance video of what they're calling a person of interest, walking in Vanderhoof on a very cold day.
We are the family of Gordon Sims. He is a beloved brother, father, grandfather, son, and uncle who was tragically taken from us January of this year.
Gordon Sims was last seen alive in early January. Police say the 65-year-old died from what they describe as suspicious injuries. His body was discovered in a home on 5th Street, and they believe he died sometime between January 10th and the day he was found on January 14th.
Gord was a loving, caring, thoughtful, funny, articulate man who did not deserve what was given to him.
Not much is known about the person of interest, and since the face is not visible, it's not clear if it's a man or a woman. But long hair can be seen, what looks like a checkered blanket or cape, purple and white pants, black gloves and black boots, and a shopping bag in hand. Mounties would like to talk to this individual.
We as the family are pleading for any assistance, anything that is known. And if anyone can identify the person on the video that will be released with this, please contact the Vanderhoof RCMP.
And of course, anyone who wants to remain anonymous can call Crime Stoppers. Mounties won't provide further details on the investigation, but say it's homicide. Sinjin Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
A warning about this next story. It deals with attempted suicide. The MLA in Mission, along with locals, say the time has come to install anti-suicide barriers on the Mission Bridge. As CTV's Ben Milger reports, last month a pair of teens became the latest people in distress to use the bridge to try to take their own lives.
Obviously, you can see the height.
HS Kenny Brach's family has owned the land under the Mission Bridge since before the span was constructed.
Unfortunately, when the emergency calls were made that someone is on the bridge or alternatively has jumped, immediately my phone rings, or our family's phones ring, because this is the epicenter.
Having helped recover a number of bodies from the shoreline over the years, he's joining a growing chorus calling for the province to retrofit the bridge with suicide prevention measures. Abbotsford Mission Conservative MLA Rianne Gasper has a number of ideas.
We need netting, we need signage, we need phones, we need something to keep our people safe. This is not okay for our government to just ignore this issue.
Last month, the 15-year-old jumped from the bridge, landing in the water, where they were rescued and taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Just a day later, a concerned neighbor managed to talk a different teen down from the ledge.
When I hear of young people that are at the end of the rope, they don't feel they want to live. That is an issue that we need to talk about, and we need to have solutions now.
In addition to preventative measures on the bridge, Gasper also wants to see more mental health services in Mission funded to get people help before they find themselves standing high above the river.
This is personal. It is happening often enough. I'm thinking at least once a year, maybe twice a year, that I know of.
CTV News reached out to the Ministry of Transportation and the Ministry of Health, but the province did not immediately respond to questions about the issue or possible plans to address it. Ben Milger, CTV News, Mission.
As the online gig economy keeps growing, Uber drivers in the provincial capital have made history. They have become the first app-based workers in the country to join a union. CTV's Rob Buffum has more.
Gilberto Tolero is an Uber driver. He and his fellow Victoria area drivers have joined the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, something he hopes will make his job safer, amongst other benefits.
We need protection. We need to be able to be heard.
The Victoria drivers are the first Uber workers in Canada to unionize and the first app-based employees in the country to do so.
And welcome workers from one of the most rapidly growing sectors in our economy.
The drivers say they want more transparency. Some say it's become unclear how much their customers tip them, and the rates they get paid fluctuate too much.
I never made less than $60 to go to the airport. Now sometimes they offer me an airport ride for $14. That's the lowest.
The union certification follows regulatory protections introduced last year by the NDP. They ensure work-safe coverage and a minimum wage for app-based workers. Protections partly motivated by a tax, including this one on an Abbotsford driver in 2023.
We are looking at ways. How do we protect these workers, their health and safety at workplace?
The drivers say Uber's rating system makes them feel pressured to stick with the customer even if they feel unsafe, because bad ratings can hurt business, and they want a mechanism to challenge or explain a bad rating.
I've had dangerous situations where I've had to put up with customers' bad behavior just because I'm also afraid of getting a bad rating.
Uber says prices won't go up for customers, adding in a statement, "For riders in Victoria, there's no change to their experience. We remain committed to ensuring that Victoria residents and visitors have access to reliable, affordable, and safe ride-sharing services through the Uber platform going forward."
Because if they drive up their prices, everybody's just going to start using Lyft.
The union and Uber will start negotiating a collective agreement this summer. Other app-based workers in the growing gig economy are expected to follow this lead. Robert Buff from CTV News, Victoria.
Vancouver is welcoming thousands of people from around the world this week to celebrate sobriety. The International Alcoholics Anonymous Convention is taking place at the Convention Centre for 3 days. CTV's Craig Krause has more on the impact the event is making on the city and also on participants after a 10-year hiatus.
A sea of pink could be seen taking the sights and sounds of Vancouver Thursday morning. A crowd made up of people from around the world, but who are here for one reason.
The 90th celebration of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Vera is just one of the 35,000 taking part, sitting down with CTV News to share her story of recovery.
Before Alcoholics Anonymous, I couldn't stop drinking. I had a life that was not very pleasant.
Broken relationships, lost jobs, and jail time. A life that was leading her down a road of destruction.
I noticed the scars on your arm. Do you mind sharing that story?
This is a direct result of my drinking. This was a car accident that I had in 1986 as a result of drinking and not stopping. So I wrecked my truck. The truck flipped over. I slid on the highway for over 300 and some odd feet. I found these facts out when I went to court because I got arrested.
Scars that are now a reminder of why she decided to get sober. Did Alcoholics Anonymous save your life?
Yes. Alcoholics Anonymous absolutely saved my life.
A sentiment shared by many as they met and shared their stories at the convention for the first time in 10 years.
People really save up. They look forward to going to the international conventions.
All bringing a substantial economic boost to the city.
We expect to be around $63 million additional into the economy, and that also is going to produce 96,000 room nights for our local accommodations.
A 3-day conference that will be capped off with a celebration at BC Place. But in the meantime, as Vera gets ready for her first meeting in Vancouver, she has a simple message for those who are struggling and are considering AA.
I have a worldwide posse. I can go anywhere in the world and connect with another alcoholic through a meeting.
Craig Crow, CTV News, Vancouver.
An innovative new childcare center opened its doors in North Vancouver today.
Every new childcare space we open means one more family can breathe a little easier. One more parent can say yes to a job opportunity. One more child gets the care and attention they deserve.
The not-for-profit facility will be operated by the YMCA and provide space for 37 kids. The building, located in Mahan Park, will also include accessible public washrooms and team change rooms that can be used by local athletes. After a turbulent start to the year, Greater Vancouver realtors believe the market is showing signs of a recovery. The group says home sales in the region fell by nearly 10% last month compared to the same period last year. That number is about 25% below the 10-year average, but the drop was about half of the decline seen in May. And in the Fraser Valley, home sales were up 1% from May, but down 9% from last year. Overall, the numbers are 33% below the 10-year average. Being more upfront about whether packaged food is unhealthy. Health Canada's new rules about nutrition labels. Also ahead, the Sedin brothers show some Canucks prospects how it's done, the grouse grind, that is, how the young guys fared compared to the retired Canucks. When CTV News continues, stay with us. Airports across Canada were on high alert this morning due to a number of bomb threats, including here in Vancouver. Here's CTV's Yasmin Gandam on what we know so far as operations resume following a temporary halt.
NAV Canada says bomb threats were made at a variety of Canadian airports, including here at YVR. Besides Vancouver, threats were also made at airports in Ottawa, Montreal, Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Calgary, forcing a temporary ground stop at some of those airports. NAV Canada says employees are safe, but some sites were evacuated while an investigation was carried out. It says a threat assessment was conducted and service is resuming as normal at the airports. Richmond RCMP also confirmed the threat, but say after their initial investigation, it was determined to be a false report, and there is, quote, no credible threat to public safety. YVR is reassuring passengers that they are safe and a thorough assessment was conducted. The airport says its top priority is passenger safety and security. NAV Canada says due to security protocols, they cannot disclose the specific nature of the threat, but will continue to work with authorities as the investigation continues. Yasmin Gandam, CTV News, YVR.
As you pack up your car for a road trip this summer, it's important not to forget about your pets.
We have to remember that the dogs, they need us to look out for them. They may love it. They may love being in the back. They may love hanging over and watching. I mean, it's so cute seeing a dog, you know, enjoying life, but that is not safe.
The BC SPCA teamed up with ICBC today to demonstrate how to safely secure your pet in your vehicle. If you're traveling with your dog in the back of a truck, they say to put them in a crate that is tethered down in the middle of the bed. Smaller dogs and cats should be kept in the back seat of the cab in a forward-facing crate or a crash-tested harness. Letting your pet sit on your lap or wander free in the vehicle could lead to a ticket. If you're going to play for the Vancouver Canucks, you've got to love the grind. The grouse grind, that is.
This is me after the grouse grind.
How was it?
It was awesome.
Yeah?
No.
Some Canucks prospects scaled Grouse Mountain on Wednesday as part of the team's development camp. And keeping with tradition, former players Daniel and Henrik Sedin showed up and showed off at the fitness test. The 44-year-old brothers nearly won the race to the top, even after the new talent got a 10-minute head start, and they had to give these 18-year-olds a 10-minute head start, and then the Sedin still caught up with them.
Well, they're so fit. This is why I can't play for the Canucks.
That's the only reason,
That is
right?
basically the only reason.
You can't run up the grind.
Yes,
Maybe these kids thought it was easier than it really is, and they thought they could just run up, and then they hit the quarter mark.
And then you just want to turn around. That's what I do, because it is very hard up there. Big steps for us little legs.
Definitely.
All right, a beautiful day, though, to do the grind. We started off cloudy, and then it did clear up quite nicely. We're seeing mostly sunny skies out there right now. Here's a look at temperatures across the lower mainland, just around nearly and touch below seasonal. 19 at the harbor. You're looking at 21s in North Vancouver and in Burnaby, as well as Pitt Meadows. 22 degrees in Chilliwack and in Surrey. As we head through the overnight, it'll be clear and calm. Seasonal low at 12 into tomorrow. Sunny skies with a high of 23 degrees. The UV index will be 8 or very high, so make sure you slap on that sunscreen.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises, customizing dream vacations with unbelievable value. Call or learn more at expediacruises.ca.
And unfortunately, no rain in sight, and things heat up once again as we head into the weekend and next week. I've got those details coming up.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Ann. Wild weather in Alberta. We'll tell you where a possible tornado touched down. Also coming up.
Mother is still recovering from the attack. She is deeply shaken. The incident has left her scarred and extremely on edge.
A terrifying swarming of a woman wearing a hijab in Ontario. The suspects all believed to be teenagers. That story ahead. A dramatic sky over central Alberta after a possible tornado touched down near Drayton Valley. Residents taking these photos around 5 o'clock yesterday, showing large funnel clouds. There was also hail and strong winds. Investigators are now working to confirm if it was a tornado, which would be Alberta's 4th so far this year. New data released today shows the impact of the persisting trade war. Exports of Canadian goods to the United States have decreased for a 4th consecutive month, costing businesses billions. But Canada's overall merchandise trade deficit narrowed slightly in May, bringing the deficit to $5.9 billion, down from April's record-setting $7.6 billion.
What we're seeing in the numbers is somewhat encouraging. I mean, that, exporters, Canadian companies are taking that spare capacity that the United States created, or the empty space on the order books, and are able to, in some cases, fill it with other markets.
The slight rebound is attributed to exports of Canadian goods to other countries hitting a record high. Experts say this is a direct result of efforts to diversify Canada's international trade relationships. The National Council of Canadian Muslims is calling for action after what the police are calling a violent swarming of a woman wearing a hijab in Ontario.
She was assaulted. She was traumatized. She was beaten up by 10 people.
Surveillance video from inside a pizza restaurant in Oshawa shows several people hop the counter and try and take something. The owner comes out from the back and is swarmed in a violent attack. The footage is blurred because police say the suspects are all under the age of 18. The victim was taken to hospital and her family says she's deeply shaken. Police say the investigation is in its early stages, but their hate crime units are involved. A BC woman takes on one of the ultimate swimming challenges, crossing the English Channel. Why she's doing it, also coming up.
We know it's highlighting sodium, sugars, and saturated fat.
Which food labels will be moving to the front of the package? Health Canada's move to encourage people to make healthier choices. That's ahead. Concerts, outdoor markets, and what's believed to be the city's largest free music and arts festival are all on offer this weekend. We've got a full list of events to check out on our website, ctvnewsvancouver.ca. It's intended to help Canadians make healthier choices, but some food producers are not happy about upcoming changes to packaging. Some nutritional labels will be moving from the back of the package to the front. CTV's Jonathan McInnes reports.
Some nutritional information is migrating from the back of food packaging to the front.
No manufacturers want these labels on their package, so they're reformulating, and we're likely to have access to healthier products moving forward.
The labeling is a directive from Health Canada.
We know it's highlighting sodium, sugars, and saturated fat, which is really important for the consumer to know because it increases our risk of chronic disease.
Front of the package labeling is needed if the product exceeds 15% of the recommended daily intake of those ingredients. Potential health risks include stroke, obesity, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and some types of cancer. The hope is the labels will help consumers make quick and informed choices when grocery shopping and support health officials in educating people about foods high in sodium, sugars, and saturated fat.
But it might make me think a little bit and maybe learn something different about what's in our food.
That's perfect, according to dietitian Lori Barker-Jackman, who says avoiding labeled foods isn't reasonable or necessary.
It's okay to choose foods that have a front of package label sometimes. It's making sure we don't choose foods that are high in sodium, sugars, or saturated fat all of the time.
The labels are mandatory for prepackaged foods, with some exceptions like plain milk, plain yogurt, and cheese because they contain calcium. Food manufacturers have until January 1st of next year to fully implement the labeling system. Jonathan McInnes, CTV News, Halifax.
You might want to think twice before asking for a hot dog at a summer barbecue. U.S. and U.K. researchers analyzed data from more than 60 previous studies on the relationship between diet and disease. Looking at processed meats, they found people who ate as little as one hot dog a day had noticeable increases in their risk of type 2 diabetes and colorectal cancer compared to those who didn't eat any. They say their findings show there is no safe amount of processed meat to eat. If a dating app doesn't appeal to you, you're not alone. It appears more people are hitting the pavement to meet people. The growth in running clubs also ahead.
It's a really mythical sort of swim, the pinnacle of the sport.
The BC woman who celebrated her 50th birthday by swimming across the English Channel, even enduring jellyfish stings. What kept her going? That story ahead.
Feels a little more authentic and like you can really get to know someone based on their vibe.
Lacing up for love, people on the lookout for love are moving away from online dating and taking to fitness as a way to meet local singles. We'll have that story right after Anne's forecast. But first, a BC woman has completed one of the ultimate swimming challenges in the world, crossing the English Channel. Erin Bowers flew from her home in Rossland to England on June 30th, 9 months after her 50th birthday, which inspired the challenge. The nearly 40-kilometer swim took her about 16 hours and 33 minutes to complete. She admits she thought about giving up more than once due to jellyfish stings and fatigue, but she persevered with her late father in mind.
He had two sayings that he used to say to me all the time, and everyone will probably have heard these before. And the first one was, keep plugging. So you just keep going, keep plugging. And then the second one is, you got to be tough. So that was the main one that I sort of repeat over in my head. You've got to be tough. So I tried to be as tough as I could.
Her dad also inspired her fundraiser for Jumpstart, a children's charity close to his heart. Bowers managed to raise nearly $10,000, and she hasn't ruled out attempting this swim again.
Wow.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine swimming through the dark with jellyfish and open ocean. I like to have a ledge, a swimming pool ledge nearby.
Exactly. I like a heated pool.
And maybe a life jacket.
Yeah, exactly. But good for her, $10,000. That's absolutely amazing. And yeah, I can't believe she swam through jellyfish. Congratulations. All right, let's take a look at our forecast. Not too bad out there. We started off cloudy. This is what it looks like from our camera on top of Browse Mountain. Looking out towards downtown Vancouver, pretty hazy up high, but for the most part, we are seeing mostly sunny skies, all thanks to this ridge of high pressure. And it's going to warm things up as we head into the next couple of days, and it's going to dominate the whole province as well, keeping things pretty clear as we head into tomorrow. So active weather right now for the northeast corner of the province. Everywhere else seeing mostly sunny skies as we head through the overnight into tomorrow morning. For your morning commute, few clouds around for the southern interior and the north coast inland sections, but then as we head into tomorrow afternoon, it does clear up. It does, we will see increasing cloud coverage around Cranbrook, a chance of afternoon thunder showers as well for Fort Nelson and Fort St. John. And things are going to heat up as well. That ridge of high pressure from the south will bring in some warm temperatures, especially as we head into Sunday and into Monday, continuing right through until Tuesday next week. So you will see a chance of afternoon thunder showers to the northeast corner, as mentioned, lots of sunshine for the central interior. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Increasing cloud coverage for Port Hardy tomorrow with a high of 17, warming up to 24s under mostly sunny skies for Campbell River and Comox. A few clouds for Tofino. Other than that, lots of sunshine from Port Alberni right down to Victoria with temperatures between 22 and 24 degrees. You'll see 22s for the Sunshine Coast under mostly sunny skies. A touch warmer up the Sea to Sky Highway, 23 for Whistler, 24 for Squamish, and for us across the Lower Mainland, we're looking at blue skies and sunshine, 23 degrees across the board. Cools down just a touch for Saturday with a few clouds, but then it heats up. Sunday, we'll see temperatures between 23 and 27 degrees. Into Monday, we'll see temperatures between 24 and 28. Inland temperatures reach 30 degrees on Tuesday. Near the water, we'll see 25 degrees. Into Wednesday, we'll see temperatures between 24 and 28 again. And then a few clouds, touch cooler on Thursday under a mix of sun and cloud and 23. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So yeah, it is going to be very dry, very warm as we head into next week. So stay hydrated and slap on that sunscreen.
And look for those misting stations in the city. Those are great. That
I
was
love
a great
those.
addition. Or any body of water.
Yeah, or stay air conditioning anywhere.
All right, thanks, Anne. Running is still enjoying a boom brought on by the pandemic. Experts say that's because it's more than exercise. It's an opportunity to build community and even find love.
Connecting on apps or connecting on like social media feels a lot less personal, and they're looking to kind of connect with people like more on like a face-to-face person level, and it feels a little more authentic, and like you can really get to know someone based on like their vibe.
This run club organizer met her partner through this group, and she's not alone. Dating coaches say run clubs are trending as people grow tired of apps. And with more people running, races are filling up. Organizers of the Victoria Marathon expect to see record-breaking registrations this year. An iconic accessory with star power, the original Birkin bag, is hitting the auction block. How much it could fetch. Plus, fire hydrant fan. Adam finds out why a woman has spent almost a year taking more than 250 photos of fire hydrants. Coming up on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Right now, here's a preview of CTV Morning Live.
what's expected to be one of the largest conventions ever held in Vancouver. Friday on CTV Morning Live, we'll learn how the city will come alive with parties, the gatherings at BC Place, and how Alcoholics Anonymous has grown since its first meeting 90 years ago. And it's a music festival expected to draw tens of thousands to Surrey's Holland Park. We'll learn more about this weekend's Faded in the Park, plus an in-studio performance from one of the festival DJs. We'll see you in the morning.
News, weather, and traffic. It's everything you need. CTV Morning Live. Weekdays 6 to 9.
Some sad news out of Hollywood. Actor Michael Madsen has died at the age of 67.
Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy? Or are you gonna bite?
Madsen was Mr. Blonde in Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. He appeared in more than 300 movies and films over his career. Many were low-budget features, but others, like Kill Bill and Free Willy, were major hits. His publicist says he suffered cardiac arrest and was found unresponsive in his Malibu home. Miley Cyrus is getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The honor is timely, considering she just released an album in May that included a track titled Walk of Fame. Cyrus will be the first female celebrity born in the 90s to receive a star. Other 2026 inductees include Demi Moore, Molly Ringwald, Timothy Chalamet, and Canada's own Rachel McAdams. Well, are you guys purse people?
No.
I've had the same purse for 5 years now, maybe more.
Me too. I don't like changing
I don't
purses.
carry one.
Okay, but watch this. The very first Birkin bag, designed for and worn by Jane Birkin, is set to go on the auction block. The cleaned-up version of the bag that was well-loved by Birkin for 9 years is on display at Sotheby's in Paris. Experts estimate it could sell for as much as $1 million. The auction house says its current record for a handbag is already an Hermes, made with crocodile leather and diamond hardware that sold for $500,000 in 2023. It is beautiful, though. Okay, just before we get to the Sawatsky sign-off, Mary's here with a look at what's coming up tonight.
Mi Jung-Bowen Ma addressed the explosion that happened outside her office in North Vancouver last week. The MLA says she won't be intimidated from continuing to serve her community. Ma says her staff have been working virtually until they can fix the door. A police investigation is still underway. We'll have more on this at 11:30. Mi Jung.
Okay, thanks, Mary. It's not something most people pay attention to unless there's an emergency. Adam finds out how a woman turned her interest in fire hydrants into an opportunity to extinguish negativity on the Sawatsky sign-off.
Although Sadie Morey can't remember the first fire hydrant she paused to appreciate,
I get a little thrill every time I find a hydrant. This is the shape I like.
she'll never forget when she noticed that some hydrants seemed to be missing around top.
I felt like it was really unjust that they didn't have hats.
So Sadie started doing research, discovered they just had different shaped bonnets, and then spent the next couple weeks sending countless pictures of the various hydrants she happened upon to her best friend, Renee Furnell.
It became a hyperfixation that I was not on the same page with, but you know, I'm being a supportive friend.
So Renee encouraged Sadie to start sharing her fire hydrant finds on social media, using the name Hydrant Girl.
I look at the fire hydrant and whatever it makes me think of is the story that it gets.
You get mad points for the...
Sadie, who co-owns a hair salon, assesses the aesthetic of each hydrant and records her comments on qualities ranging from design...
My favorite thing about these is how they have 4 stem nuts.
...to condition...
Keep going, nature. You reclaim that fire hydrant.
...along with adornments.
If he was an adult man, he would have a tweed suit and like a mustache.
Over almost a year, Sadie has reviewed more than 250 hydrants and counting.
There's only so many fire hydrant shapes. You know, we got to spice it up a little. Thank you very much.
So now, Sadie sometimes wears a fire hydrant costume while filming her critiques.
10 out of 10. I've never seen one in this neighborhood with a green top like this.
Sadie's Hydrant Girl reviews have inspired a quirky community of fans that includes actual firefighters and more than a couple city workers who recently reached out about a hydrant at the end of of its life.
That one hydrant that you posted in this area we're replacing tomorrow, like, why didn't you come by and say hi? We're all huge fans.
When Sadie did, they gave her the decommissioned hydrant as a gift.
It just brought a lot of fun into my life, a lot of laughter.
And while it's been said we should take the time to stop and smell the roses, Sadie and Renee are also inviting us to start pausing, to appreciate the potential of a fire hydrant to extinguish negativity.
Find pleasure and goodness in the little day-to-day things in our lives.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
What an interesting hobby.
Lucy might like seeing all these fire hydrants. Dogs.
Yes, definitely. Dogs are big fans. All right, our scenic snapshot tonight to colorful floating homes in Mosquito Creek. Thanks, David, for sending this one in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well. So email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
Wow, pretty. North Vancouver, right?
Yes.
All right, thanks for joining us. Mary's back tonight at 11:30.